Hey guys, welcome back. You know, I had this talk with one of my gal pals recently, and she said, you really need to make sure that you put out some of the information that you've been blessed to have, experienced. And it's true. That's one of the main things that I try to do on this channel. I try to share some of my experiences because you never know where someone else might learn and grow from. So let's call this dating savvy, okay? So I was dating this guy years ago, and this part of the story I think I actually did share, but I'm going to share a medley of a few just to make sure that we touch on different points, okay? Or different components, I'll say. So I was dating this guy, and I noticed that there were some issues that I could not just, let go of, sometimes you're dating a person and you observe and you say, wow, I don't know about that situation if I should remain in a relationship with this person because this person, seems to be a little off, okay? He took me to the supermarket in his neighborhood, and the people in the supermarket were looking kind of strange. You observe other people's responses to the person and how they're behaving, So it seemed as though, he was introducing me to the people in the supermarket and in his neighborhood. And one of the ladies looked at me like, girl, you better run. And I know to some people that might seem strange, but I was picking up on certain energy that is not common in a relationship. When you're introducing yourself to or introducing people in your circumference, that you keep company with, usually the looks are usually like, oh wow, how nice, and their responses are nice. This girl gave a direct look like, you better run. So at this point I was telling him, I said, I don't have I have some things that I need to take care of today or two. And he was like, all right, but let me finish introducing you, and then, we're gonna make a run. So it wasn't just that. It was certain things that led up to that moment that were really pushing me. Like I said, the picture in the wallet that looked like him, a little boy, and he said the child wasn't his, that it was his brother's. And then this happened, and I'm like, wait a minute, different things, when you get certain signs, you can't just shrug them off. You can't just, move along. So we get to my car, and instead of me saying, I'll see you later, I said, this is it for me. And he said, what? Just the way he said what, the pitch said it all. So I'm getting in the car, and he's holding the door. And he closes the door for me or whatever, and then he starts banging on the window. So I wind the window, and I said, look, I don't think this is going to work out because there's certain things that I don't understand, and you haven't been clear in explaining. So he was like, all right then, F you then. Woo. So I wind the window up, and I'm trying to get out of this parking spot. Now I'm in New York, and actually I'm not too far from Alphabet City, if you know where Alphabet City is. I hear that they fixed it up, but back then they did not, okay? So I'm trying to get out of this parking spot. Now I drive a stick shift at this point. So I'm trying to back out and pull out and get in that first gear at the same time because the look in his eyes says you better get out of here. And his energy, when I say his energy is fierce, his energy was on 100, okay? How did brother say? 100, okay? So I'm trying to get out of this parking spot. I'm trying to drive up fast. I'm trying to do all this stuff at one time. And all of a sudden, this guy gives a karate kick to my window. I know God was present because that glass should have shattered the way I didn't even know the guy knew karate, okay? The guy knew karate, okay? And I'm trying to get out of this parking spot. I'm snug in this parking spot because the two people who are on alternate sides of me have pulled their vehicles closer so they can get into the space. So I'm trying to get out without hitting anybody's car. Well, honey, I put the vehicle in reverse and I backed out. And while reversing it, I had to turn the wheel and pull out. And girl, guy, whoever's listening, I got that vehicle out. And when I tell you, at first my foot was like this on the clutch. It was shaking. It would not go down. My foot would not stay solidly down on the clutch to be able to, on the gas pedal. You have to. When you are driving a stick shift, you have to simultaneously do things to make sure. And then again, like I said, I'm trying to turn the wheel. Actually, my hand was on the clutch. So my hand's on the clutch. My left hand is on the steering wheel. Sometimes you have to simultaneously do this. And I'm trying to get out of this parking spot. Well, when that next kick got ready to hit, I was out and I was on the road, okay? I think I went through a red light. Excuse me, New York police, I'm sorry. I think I went through a red light trying to get away because he was chasing me. He was running after the vehicle after that. And I was just like, what the heck? And I'm in college, okay? I'm thinking I'm a big girl. I know what I'm doing. Well, honey, that experience taught me you never break up with a crazy person, okay, in their face. You have to sometimes keep it some distance, okay? Whew. Just the thought of it, it just reminds me of it all over again as though it had just happened. So be very cautious, be very conscious of what you're doing when you think you call yourself breaking up with somebody. If they are not sane and you decide to do that, they're going into a whole different mode, okay? Another time, I'm dating this guy, right? And I'm living in Brooklyn at the time. And I had gone by his house a few times. And each time I left his house, I had a flat tire. Now, first time you say, okay, maybe it's just, And then, I'm thinking, okay. But the second time, I checked the area before I pulled in. Now, this time I was driving my BMW. So I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. Twice, I said, nah. So that's when I had to talk with him. He's like, man, why would I do that when I have all of this, And, guys know they have good game sometimes when they think they do. But something in my subconscious mind was saying, he's lying, okay? So I left, and I went home. I'm telling you, it must have been a day or two later, some girl comes by, and she's in the soccer mom van. Now, I know I saw this girl before. I think I saw her in my peripheral vision the same night that I got that flat, and I had to call AAA again to fix my tire. So now I'm in front of the house, and I'm getting ready. I got out the vehicle. I got a good parking spot right in front of my house. Going through the gate, and here she comes, pulling up. How you doing? I said, I'm fine, thank you. I said, are you lost? Do you need help? No. I just wanted to know what kind of flowers those are. What kind of flowers are those in front of your house? They are so beautiful. And I said, I don't recall. Now, I'm buying time when I'm saying I don't recall because I'm looking at her and I'm observing who she is. And then it clicks. And I said, you know what? I tell her what the flowers are. And I move along. And you could tell she's trying to start a conversation. So it's almost like she's trying to be friends. This is what I call checkmate, okay? When you check your mate, you check the guy, the girl, how do I put this? You're checking the girl that your guy is dealing with. And you're trying to see exactly what it is that she sees in this woman. You're looking at her body language, you're looking at her over. And I only know this because I remember in college when guys used to bring their girlfriends to see campus, and they had a girlfriend already on campus, they would introduce their old girlfriend to the new girl, and they say she's just a friend. The new girl would check her by showing her around campus, becoming a friend to her, but at the same time checking her out. When he knows, and the guy is happy because he's basically slicking both sides, slicking the deal, as they call it. His old girlfriend that's at home that thinks he's being loyal to her meets the new girlfriend on campus, and they hang out. Now, the girl on campus knows that this is his girl from home. The girl who's coming from home has no idea that this is his chick on campus. So they're checking each other, while they are now the girl on campus is checking the girlfriend while showing her around and having a good time. Now this type of behavior is definitely unscrupulous. Let's just be honest. But let's be honest. One thing that college life teaches you is how life can be, okay? And I'm only sharing this portion of the story because I do recall seeing this happen, and it checked me. It let me realize that I was now the homegirl from home being checked by the girl on campus in my own environment, at my own house. So I pleasantly played it off and went on in my house or whatever. And she didn't pull the stunt because something in my behavior. I had to make sure that I was very stern in telling her, excuse me, although I was friendly in telling her what flower it was. Before I walked in those doors, I said, thank you very much. And I gave her a look, like we're not friends, okay? And went on in the house. You're gonna find, excuse me, when you are in different relationships, the women can be very unpredictable as well, especially when she thinks she's the main girl, or especially when she wants to be the main girl. Now the last story I'm going to share with you is more recent years, okay? I'm going to say this one is between 2016 to 2018, okay? Now, you have to be careful when you're dating certain people. When you don't know who the person is and you think you know you're dating this person, and it's a wake-up call on so many different levels, okay? This is when you're dating a narcissist, okay? Now, I know people say, oh man, they use that word for everything. No, this specific person was truly a narcissist, and truly still is a narcissist. A narcissist can try to take you down when you leave the person. When you try to leave gracefully and you say, you know what, you're observing too much. Okay, I'm going to say I had the most treacherous dreams while dating this person. That's how I knew the person was definitely not right. And when I say not right, the parents were warned when this boy was in school that he was not right. But the parents never took him to psychological, advisory. They did not do it. The school did it because there were too many things happening and they were suspending him too much. Now, in some cases, they didn't even get to suspend him because his parents came in and spoke on his behalf. Now, it's a good thing when parents speak on your behalf when you've not been a bad person, or you've not been a bad student, or you've not been a danger in your school environment. But this kid was a danger in his school environment. One of the dreams I had was about it, okay? And you can't shrug things off when your intuition, when your ancestors are screaming at you, telling you to stay away from this person. So I got away from this person. Who knew that the person had connections? When I say connections, I'm talking people following me. What he did was he told his friends. He started telling stories to his friends that I was mean to him, how I was using him for money, how he was supporting me. When I tell you that my check was his check, and I'm not saying that I literally gave him money. I'm saying the man went into my wallet and took a card, okay? I never forget, I was banking with PNC Bank at the time. And PNC Bank could not explain to me how my money was missing. So I had to really do my own research and realize and figure out that he had friends somewhere. Now, I'm not going to say he had friends at the bank. I'm not saying anything against PNC Bank. I'm just saying that he had friends somewhere, and somehow it was a duplicate card created. I wouldn't find this out till later on after doing more research. And when I realized that my driver's license. I had to get a new driver's license because my driver's license was missing. So you could take a driver's license, get another girl to come to the bank or to motor vehicles in the South Carolina, and have, not motor vehicles, excuse me, go to the bank and get a duplicate card because she had a copy of my license and a copy of my PNC card. So now money is missing. Okay. Now again, I never considered myself a person I never really saw myself as a great researcher. I'm gonna be honest with you. But when you go through a bad relationship, you get to really use your mind. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. When you go through relationships like this, not only do they wake you up, they make you more alert. But and I won't even give the person the credit or the friends who worked on his behalf, stalking me and everything else. What I'm gonna give credit to is God, because God has shown me so many different things and shown me how to get in and out of certain dilemmas, I'll say, based upon these experiences. I mean, who knew that you could even find a girl who could look more like me, who could watch me online and watch my behavior patterns? I mean, it's amazing. You know how people will do all sorts of things, copycatting, doppelganger, as they call them. You know, it's the doppelgang. It's amazing all the things that this person has been able to get away with. But you know what this year is? 2024. If you look it up, and also we just faced a new moon. Facing a new moon, because even when the new moon comes upon us, there's still days in between, days after or days before, that people tend to behave and act on other levels in regards to getting information. Okay? Now that's a heavier one that I have to get into another time, because that's going to take more than 20 minutes to get into. But either way, when you're dating, the reason why you take the time to get to know the person is so that you can get to know who they are. Even when you get to know their family, and I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes you get to know their family and you say their family is nothing like them. So really it is getting to know that person. I know prior I did say that you need to know the family. Some of the family members, I realized that I did meet a guy years ago who is nothing like his family. But there are still certain components that you can pick up through meeting different family members. In fact, I once dated a guy who, by getting to know his family, I knew I needed to run fast and get away. And then I fell in love with his family, and his family was sweeter than he was. You know, so it all depends on the dynamics of the family. But, so I'm going on and on about that, but yeah, he got his friends and he got all these people involved, all because I walked away. You know, it's one guy said, you know, when I went to report some of the things that were happening, I spoke to a police officer, and he said, man, you must really be good for this guy to do all of this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm really just trying to get the opportunity to get away from this person, because this has taken a lot out of me. And he said, I get it, but I really get it. And you know, he was being honest on, you know, from a male's perspective, you know, so I cannot knock that either. What I'm saying is that you have to really be careful and conscious of your dating experiences. When you're choosing to date a person, you need to make sure that you are cautious of the decisions and the choices that you are making, okay? Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Indigo Moon, and I hope you're learning from these experiences, because dating is a serious thing. You're getting to know an individual, and when you share personal information, when you share your intimacy, and you know where I'm going with that, with another individual, you have to be careful and you have to be cautious. You don't know the person, and you are thinking that this person is one person, but they are not. A narcissist can mimic your behavior. A narcissist can I forgot the term that's used, but basically the narcissist can actually mimic the behavior and reflect the behavior that they think you want, just to trick you into dating them, okay, and to trick you into thinking they're a whole different person. There's a community right now believing that this person is a great leader, and he is not. He's only played this position because he did it to get people to trust him. And he has taken all sorts of advantage of a community in South Carolina. And it's amazing to me how this person has been able to get away with so much. And it's more so because I've observed, based upon what I went through personally. Who knows what the other people have experienced as to why they trust him. But this person has been able to get so many people to trust them and taken advantage, and has gained his money based upon taking advantage of so many people. You know, it is really important that we realize that when we're dating people, you realize that people will put on their best face. And by putting on their best face, putting their best foot forward, they can sometimes fool a whole town of people. So it is important that you do more research. You know, one of my girlfriends, you know, she, when she just even considers dating a guy, she gets information and looks up their whole background. I didn't even know half of that stuff that she's been able to do were possible. But you know what? Now I do know. And what you know, you need to be able to grow from, persevere from. And I've learned a great deal. So that is it for today's lesson. I hope that you have learned a lot from these stories. I didn't realize it was going to go this long, but either way, you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining us here at Indigo Moon.